Good evening and welcome to Catholic Peekskill Show. I'm your host, Regina Dimayacyac. We want to continue to feature the different ministries at Assumption Church. And tonight with us is this very special guest. She's the Certified Coordinator of Religious Education at Assumption. We want to welcome Mrs. Kathy Bischoff. Welcome, Kathy.
Thanks, Regina.
I know this isn't your first rodeo at the show, so can you give us an update of what's been going on since you were last here in the show?
Okay, family-wise, my two grandchildren, Benny and Ziva Harris, have been attending. They're attending the religious education program now.
Oh, wow.
My son just recently got engaged last week, so that's a happy occasion. And also, my great aunt and my godmother, and a very good role model for me, just turned 99 on Sunday.
Wow.
So
you must have had a big celebration for that.
No, she didn't want anything, so we just went out to dinner and with the family, and that's all she wanted. Thank you.
So Assumption Church has a huge CCD program, which I understand is now called Religious Education.
Correct.
Can you share with us a little bit more details about the classes?
Yes. We meet, the children come in every Wednesday. I have two sessions. The first session starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and goes to 5:30, and that takes in grades 1 to 4. And then again in the evening, we have a second session for the older kids. That's from 7 to 8:30, and that takes in grades 5 to 8.
Okay.
I also have a special needs class. They come in the afternoon, and that's on a one-to-one basis.
Oh, okay, okay. What study aids do you use in those classes, Kathy?
Well, the two books that we use and that the catechists really like is Sadlier and Loyola Press.
Oh, okay, okay. Now, how many children are enrolled in the program?
This year we have 641 students.
Wow.
When I first started, we only had 150.
From
so
50 to 600.
600 is a lot. It's a lot of challenges with it too.
Now, who teaches the children?
I have 3 missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart that teach, and the rest are all lay people.
Oh, okay.
They are all volunteers. They don't get paid for it. And a lot of the catechists, they come in the afternoon and stay with me until the evening. Some of them come right from work, and then they stay right to 8:30.
Now, how does someone become a catechist or volunteer for that?
Okay, if anybody is interested in becoming a catechist, what they would do is they would call and I would meet with them. I would go over, I would give them what they're required to do. They have to go through a background check. Okay. Besides the background check, they would have to go through the Safe Environment Program, which is sponsored by the Archdiocese of New York. And that's all they do is watch a video and to make sure that everything's okay.
Now, do you provide the training for these catechists, or?
No, I do not provide the training. The Archdiocese of New York has a training program for the catechists. It's called Catechist Formation Program. There are 2 levels. There are 2 levels of training. Level 1 is your basic essentials. Level 2 is more in-depth classes. The first one is 24 classes with 2 hours each.
Oh, okay.
Once the catechists are finished with each level, even if it's just level 1, the Archdiocese in the fall will always have a certification ceremony. The ceremony is usually held in Maryknoll in Osney. And what happens that is it's a nice ceremony. It's either the cardinal presides over it or he sends one of his bishops. So it's a very nice honoring all the catechists that have become certified.
I see. Now, do they come up with the lessons to teach the children? Do they each get to pick their own, or is there a set lesson?
There's well, each grade level has their own catechist manual. I give them each, the Archdiocese has guidelines for each grade level, which the student must meet in order to continue on to the next level. So between the guidelines and the catechist, the manual for the book, the catechist will come up with the lesson plan. And a lot of our students are visual learners. So the catechists have to be very creative on what they do.
Right.
And a lot of them use the book with video stuff, hands-on stuff. So they do their own.
Wow. Well, with 600 children, I imagine you need a lot of catechists, right?
Oh, I do.
How do you recruit them and keep them in the the program?
Recruiting is the hardest part. Nowadays, nobody really wants to volunteer, and it's hard. What we do is really by word of mouth, or by one of the priests going up and asking, because the priest might know somebody that I don't know that will be a good catechist. So, and then then we go with the interview process.
Do they have to be part of the parish?
No, they do not.
Oh, they don't.
They don't. So I have catechists that are not part of the parish and very dedicated to it.
But they have to be Catholic.
They have to be Catholic. Okay. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And you want to know how I keep them?
Yes.
Oh, that's the tricky
part. Although I have an idea.
Yes, yes, yes. Like I said before, a lot of them come in right from work, and they'll teach at 4 o'clock, teach a class at 4 o'clock. And then they'll stay with me and teach a class at 7.
Oh, wow.
So that's a long day for them.
Yeah.
And what I do is I provide dinner for them.
Ah.
So we have a sense of community for them. And what happens, that's in between the afternoon and the evening. And then what happens after the evening classes, evening session, the catechist will come back to my conference room and we have coffee and cake or whatever, and we'll sit around the table and they'll discuss what went on in the class, good, bad, whatever, some suggestions, or just have adult conversation, which makes for a truly church community. And actually, the group that I have is so very dedicated, not just to the program, but to handing on the faith of to the children.
And that's very important.
And that's the most important thing, and that we become very close-knit.
Well, I've tasted your cooking, so let that be the advertisement for everybody who's interested in teaching children for the for the faith, advancing the faith, but also tasting your home-cooked meals. So, what can the children expect when they come to a religious ed class?
Well, our religious education program strives to provide a solid foundation in the faith, which is age appropriate for each student. We encourage the parents to bring their children in grades 1 and continue to stay in the program through grade 8 until they receive confirmation.
Okay. Now, is it like a school setting where the teacher or the catechist is in front and teaching them with visual aids, or do they get to interact with the students?
Okay, each teacher has their own method of teaching. And what they do is they take a census of how the kids learn. If they learn better in groups, that's how that teacher teaches them. If they learn better by teacher standing up and going through the book, that's how they teach. It depends on the teacher and the students. And the teacher really, they have to use their own judgment as to how they're going to present the lesson to the student.
I see. Where do you have the classes?
Oh,
600 kids.
641 kids, yes.
641.
Since we have a large building, I use every inch of that building.
I see.
What happens when they first come in, we meet the first 15 minutes of each class in the church. I give them either announcements, instructions. The priest will come in and give them a little blessing or talk to them for a while. That gives us a chance for those latecomers to come meet us into the church instead of them wandering around through the building. So that's a twofold thing there. And it seems to work.
Okay.
It works.
So leading a huge program like that, I can imagine that there's some challenges. Can you share some with us and how you overcome them?
Yeah, there's the first biggest challenge that I have, that the whole program in the parish has, is how do we get the children to Mass?
Right. Yes.
You know, our Catholic faith requires us to go to Mass every Sunday and holy days of obligation. And it's hard for the kids. They want to come most of the time, but the parents work or something else. So what we did, we between me and the pastor, we, at our parents' meeting, we stress, you have to bring your kids to church. Mm-hmm. And what we do is how we monitor that is we give them in September when they come in, we give them and children's envelopes, like the adults. And we're not so much worried about the monetary amount, although the pastor would be, but we're not. And on the envelope, it gives the student a line where they can put down what good deed they do during the week.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. And then that's collected, and they put that in the basket each week, and then they're given to me. I have volunteers. I have senior volunteers that come in on a Tuesday afternoon. That's their outing.
Oh, okay.
There's 4 of them that come in, and they have their own books, which each grade level, and they monitor the Mass attendance with the envelopes for me. Mm-hmm. They'll report back to me, and then I report back to the parent. And I'll bring the parents in if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Now, do you find some people bringing the envelope but not really coming to Mass?
Oh, we've done that. The ushers in both the English and Spanish Masses are very good to me.
Oh, good.
They kind of like tell me, if they see somebody put the envelope in, what they'll do is take that envelope out, they'll hand it to me and say, they didn't go. They just put it in the basket and left.
Ah, very wise.
Yeah.
That's good. Any other challenges?
Yes.
Okay.
The other challenges is the catechist.
Okay.
How do we get them? That's the biggest one. And, you know, they're all volunteers. They all have lives of their own, too. So you can't hold them too much accountable. But the ones I have are very good.
Right.
But running a program with 641 students, I need a lot of them.
Yeah.
And
we're not
we're not getting the people out to volunteer. Okay. So I have large classes, and the catechists that I do have are very good, and they can manage them, but it's hard. I try to lessen the amount of students in each class, but it doesn't always work that way because we don't have the catechists.
About how many children is in one class, Kathy?
Average, 20 to 25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot for one adult.
And just one adult.
One adult, but I do have helpers in each class, especially the lower grades. The upper grades is fine. The older kids are great. But the younger grades, like first grade, second grade, no, they need helpers in there. So I usually have.
Okay. So hopefully this episode is going to encourage some of those people who's looking for something to do. You know, Wednesday nights, you know, would be with children.
Yeah, yeah.
Have a home-cooked meal.
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
So we hope that this show will help you with that.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I do have another challenge.
Okay.
The other challenge is keeping the students in the program after they receive First Holy Communion.
I see.
You know, and we keep stressing to the parents, it's not about getting that certificate, those 2 pieces of paper. The parents just think that they could come in, drop the kids off for First Holy Communion, and then come back in 6th grade and do confirmation. No, until I tell them that it's an 8-year program. And they say, well, what happens between 3rd and 7th grade? I said, well, between 3rd and 7th grade, they learn more about the faith. They learn how to live it, all the stuff about our Catholic faith. So that's what I tell the parents. I says it's not about getting that piece of paper. It's about learning the faith, how to live it, because when they come to grade 8 and they receive confirmation, That's the last formal religious education they're going to get. So when they go out to the real world, we want them to make sure from our program at Assumption that they know what being a Catholic is really all about.
Right. Well, hopefully we can come up with solutions to those issues.
It's actually, it actually is getting better.
Oh, good.
We just have a few, but they're starting to conform to what the pastor is helping me with that, and Father Carlos is helping me with that. So between all of us, we're starting to get the word out, and it's starting to work.
Okay. Other than in the beginning of every day, of every sessions, are the priests involved with the program?
Yes, they are. To a point. Assumption Parish is a very busy parish.
Yes, it
and
is.
we have, our parish is so diverse, and which is good. And there's constantly people that want to go talk to the priest, want to talk to the priest. What happened this year is that Father Esteban and Father Carlos started out teaching for me in the afternoon and teaching for me in the evening until I told them, I said, it's not going to work. What do you mean it's not going to work? I says, you guys are new to the parish, fairly new to the parish. You're going to see that the demands for a priest are very so much there that it's going to take a lot of your time up. Don't worry, we'll work around it. It didn't happen. They knew they had to go do that, but they do. Father Carlos is there every Wednesday, practically every Wednesday, as I release the students from the church. He's giving them all a high five as they're going out.
Oh, that's nice.
That's good.
Okay. So, any other issues or
I could tell you one other thing that we do that
sure.
people might be interested in is that on Wednesdays when the students are in class, I have a few of my my RCIA Spanish instructors. They come and they meet with the parents, because what was happening is the parents were sitting in the church. Rosanna Lobos and Jorge, they come in and they says, we can do something with them. I said, okay, let's do it.
Oh,
So they meet the parents that stay. They meet in the rectory, and they have classes for them while the kids are in session.
Oh, how wonderful that is.
Yeah.
That's great. So I'm sure as there's many issues and challenges, you also have some rewarding moments.
Oh, we do.
Can you share that with us, please?
I'll try.
Okay.
Without breaking down. It's hard. The most rewarding one that I have is when a special needs student comes in, and we're so proud of them when they receive their sacraments. From the minute that parent walks into my office and says to me, I have a special needs child. Will you take them? My heart breaks.
Yeah.
Because my youngest sister has special needs. So I know what that parent is going through. I know what we went through and the challenges that they're facing. And when they tell me that no other parish will take them or can accommodate them, I said, no problem. You'll take them? Yeah, I'll take them. I have somebody that's very special that will teach them, and she does. Mary Williams, she meets with the parents and the child, and they do a one-on-one. She does one-on-one.
Yeah.
But what happens is she meets with the parents and the child first to go over to see how long the student can sit, during instructions. Because it may only be 5 minutes. If that's all it takes, that's all it's going to take.
Yeah.
But, they are part of our program. And when they do make the sacraments, I will make them part of that ceremony. And this past Saturday, we had First Communion. And I have to tell you, we had 2 special needs kids go down.
Oh, wow.
And I make them go down. I make the parents walk them down the aisle. And I make them bring up the offertory gifts. So they're very much a part of it. And this one who's nonverbal, that's all he did after he received Jesus for the first time, and when it was over, he came up, he was kissing everybody. He was just so happy. He was just so happy.
Oh,
And then I have another one that she came to us in the first grade. Actually, the school district called me. Says, "Can you help me?" And I says, "Yeah, I can help you. What do you need?" She says, "We have this student that's blind, and no other parish will accommodate her. We'll work with you. Can you work with us?" I says, "Absolutely." She's in a regular program. There's nothing wrong with her. She just can't see. But she is the smartest girl you ever wanted to meet, and the sweetest girl. And I'd have to tell you, her mother comes to class with her, and she's now going into the 7th grade. And what we do is during the summer, I'll give them the book, and we turn it into Braille. So she follows them with the, she follows right in the book with them. She could read with them. At first, when she did her first Holy Communion, there wasn't a dry eye in the church. I let her do a reading.
Wow.
And she did.
That is very touching, Kathy.
Yeah.
Oh,
So.
you were right. That sounds very rewarding, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers will relate to that if they have a special needs child, that they can come to Assumption Parish and Assumption Church and talk to you and work with you for their religious education, and that's wonderful. And
you know, next year will be our first year for them. We don't have them come back in between because some of them it wouldn't matter if they were there for 8 years or if they were there for 1 year.
Right.
So we bring them back when it's time for confirmation. And what happens is the Archdiocese has a special needs confirmation down in the St. Patrick's Cathedral every year. So next year I told this one, I says, "We're going to make it special. We're going down to St. Patrick's for you."
Well, that is special.
So yeah.
Confirmation at St. Patrick's Cathedral
with the Cardinal.
With the Cardinal, wow.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to that then. Is there anything that you want to tell the parents out there who do not enroll their children to the religious education program? Any encouragement that you can give them?
Any encouragement? Let's see. Yes. You know, that they should bring their children. You know, like I said before, when they brought their child to baptism, they made promises. Come, bring them to us. We'll teach them. We'll help them with their faith journey. And okay, when is the next class or session? We're done. We're done for the year.
Okay.
We finished yesterday. We finished Wednesday.
Okay.
We don't start up until September 11th. But registration has already started for September. We will run registration through the whole summer. I'll be there, or my secretary will be there through the whole summer. Anybody coming to register for the first time, they should bring their child's birth certificate and baptism certificate. There is a fee for it, but that should not turn you away from not coming. If a parent cannot afford a religious education for their child, they should bring them anyway, and we work with them. There's special groups in the parish that will pay for the student who can't afford it.
That's wonderful.
So don't let that ever be a problem. We always tell the parents, well, we couldn't come because we didn't have it. Don't let that step in the way of your child learning the faith.
Okay, well, as we are winding down with the time, is there anything that you want to share with us? Any final words?
No, that was good. I've been blessed to be in the parish in this religious education program for 22 years. 22 years.
So that's wonderful, Kathy. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
For the children of Assumption and children of Peekskill.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. Well, so we hope you enjoyed this evening's show, and we hope that you will heed Kathy's needs for volunteers, for catechists, and also for children to be enrolled in the program. And we hope you tune in to our next show. You can look us up on Facebook and YouTube. Just look for Catholic Peekskill. Thank you and have a wonderful evening. God bless.